Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. We'll have tickets for Stavros Halkias in a couple seconds. Playing the Chicago Theater tomorrow night. There's a couple shows, 10 p.m. showtime. One sold out. There's some tickets left for one. So you can go get those from our great friends at Concerts West. And Stavros Halkias on the phone. Stavros, you know I got to start like how we've played this piece of your act on the show before. It involves our mayor. You know where I'm going with this one, man? hearing your piece a couple years ago about Lori Lightfoot when you were on stage. And
Thanks, dude.
I normally wouldn't start with playing a piece of audio. I'd put it at the end when we're done and kind of just go out with it. But I got to play this right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, here it is. Stavros on Lori Lightfoot.
I'm sad your hilarious little mayor's got to go away. That sucks. Just visually one of the funniest people of all time. Really awesome. You'd think somebody that looks like that would have to be competent. Do you know what I mean? Like, you see someone like that, you're like, well, obviously she must be the best politician and mayor of all time. You gotta be, like, technically a savant to reach this high a level. Surely you can't be just a horrendous mayor and look that funny as well.
Oh, my God. Comedians will come in and have a shot ready to go or something funny to embrace the crowd. You couldn't have nailed it better with that one.
Thanks, man. Yeah, she really is an inspiration for ugly people. You know, I feel like I've had to work really hard in show business as a fat, bald man to get on TV.
Got it.
But, you know, but I had to work hard, you know, whereas she just, I don't know how she did it. I don't know how you can be, you know, 4'1" with bug eyes and just get to also get to be like, have horrible policies that everyone on every side of the aisle, like, you know, it doesn't matter if you were the most liberal, like most left-leaning person or a conservative. Nobody liked that lady.
No.
It was actually like, in that sense, she was a uniting force across the city, I guess. Everyone could come across the aisle and say, we need something different.
Oh, man.
But I love it, man. You guys are so awesome for so many reasons. Politics is one of them. You always have hilarious. I mean, she was great. Blagojevich, a hilarious guy with this, just going around with his wig from back in the day. You got to respect the guy who's wearing 1970s style toupees in 2010.
Oh, yeah.
I love it, man. I love Chicago so much. I'm so pumped to be there. And honestly, a city that embraces the plus size community. That's what I love about it the most.
Oh, facts.
So I can't wait.
Completely. Yeah. As you know, it's funny when you said that. I was curious, when you get TV shows, when you try to get those, did they see you coming? Did someone see your act? Or they just, when you go into audition for something, like you're on the Netflix comedy series Tires, but let's say it was something that you walked into and didn't go so well. Was it because of your plus size or the way you look, just in general, or just basically?
Nah, man, no one's putting me out for leading man roles. If I'm getting the audition, it's for a guy who looks like me. It's for a guy who like split his pants, fell down, you know, got his face in a birthday cake. Those are sort of the auditions I'm going for. They're not me and Glenn Powell aren't going for the same parts. I'll put it that way.
Well, that makes me sad that we haven't made that kind of progress by 2025.
We'll get there, man. We'll get there.
I got to imagine when you come to Chicago, our huge Greek community, does everybody say they know you when you come here and say, oh, yeah, I know Stavros?
Yeah. Shout out to Greek people, man. And that's the other thing. Chicago, another city that has – that's another special thing because I'm East Coast. We had Greek people were just kind of like all across the Eastern Seaboard. But it's cool that there's a huge Greek town in Chicago. And Greek people are great. They're so supportive. And it does feel like I bump into, 10 people that even though I didn't spiritually, I went to like Sunday school with, the community's great. Everyone comes out. And then some of the older Greek people are disappointed with all the foul language, but they're still there to support me, even though they don't They don't, that's the thing. They'll just come see a Greek person do anything, even if they have no idea. So there have been some disappointed grandmas that leave my shows.
I can imagine. You're funny. You don't need to do that, Stavros. You don't need to.
Well, it's funny. When I was starting, I barely knew what I was doing, and I was even more vulgar because when you're like a kid, the only thing that's funny to you is just over-the-top stuff. A lady from my church was like, you know what you should do? You should do a fundraising show at the church. And it's like, lady, you do not want me in the church. We're on the radio. I can't even tell you what my act was like, but you can imagine. But it was just the most childish sex jokes and just, I don't want to be doing that in front of my grandma and friends.
It's awesome when you talk about Baltimore because I think where you're from, because Chicago gets a little bit of that same stuff from, I guess, outsiders or just the image that people have. If you're going to come here, get out at O'Hare, and you're going to get shot just trying to get your luggage, like by the time you get there.
Right.
And I think when you talk about Baltimore, some of the stories are just, I go, yeah, it's the same deal.
There's something really funny where people are some people that say they're so tough or just scared of going inside a city. It's like, it's not that bad, man. There's just don't be dumb. You'll be okay. And what's a city without a little crime? You want a totally safe place? Nothing interesting happens in a completely safe place. There's no sense of danger. There's no nothing. There's no, you want to feel like you got away with something every once in a while. Good cities have you got to sprinkle in a little crime. You got to sprinkle in some weirdos. I don't want a cookie cutter, suburbs. And no disrespect, if you're in the cookie cutter suburbs, take the 45-minute drive into the city to see me and come out. Come in your huge SUV that you don't need, park it, and run back to your car really fast before any scary people get to you if you want to come see the show. But I love Chicago for that. You're right. I love growing up in a city with a little edge to it. You get funnier people for sure. You get more interesting art. I do love the city for all the cool stuff that's come out of it too.
Yeah, people driving the
great comedians have come out of Chicago.
Oh yeah, with Second City and all that. That you can go down that wormhole forever. If people bring in the Wagoneer from the suburbs and hits the roof of the garage that's only 6 feet tall.
That's right. Bring the Grand Wagoneer.
Oh, man. I'm so happy you're coming to Chicago Theater. It's a perfect setting. The last place you played here, do you remember what that was? Because I'm drawing a blank all of a sudden.
Yes, it was the Vic Theater.
The Vic, that's Theater. Right. It's awesome because they're right on top of everybody. And
yes.
Chicago Theater, for that room, it's big, but you also do have people right in your face, too. So you get that, that setting of you can still see them, I imagine, and mess with people.
Yeah, and I love, stand-up is so fun because it's the one thing where you really get to kind of form a relationship with each and every audience. Like every show is different. And I usually like a smaller theater, or I love clubs. I'm doing theaters on this run, and I try and stay away from these, because the Chicago Theater is huge. It's a 3,500 seat theater.
Yeah.
And we sold out the first one. We're almost sold out the second one.
Hell yes.
But I usually avoid those, but it's that's such a beautiful, special building where when those theaters are built the right way, they can be humongous, and everyone feels like they're in the front row, and that's what I'm so I feel so happy and lucky to play such a historic, legendary building that's just you go into these beautiful theaters, it's you step back in time, so I feel like the Chicago Theater, that was around when Al Capone was around. That was around back in the bootlegging days. So I like that sense. Some mobsters were probably watching vaudeville in there. I don't know what they were doing. I don't think they were going to opera. I don't think Al Capone and his boys were going to see ballet. But, now these beautiful theaters, they've debased themselves and allowed men like me in. So
that's the greatest thing ever. We'll give away some tickets in a second for one of the shows, but thanks so much. I'm following you for so long. I'm so happy for your success. I'm so happy for it.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Stavros, thanks for checking in, man. Appreciate you, and we'll see you this weekend.
All right. See you this weekend.
Oh, man, he is such a funny dude. Stavros Halkias at the Chicago Theater. So he said one sold out, one isn't. We have tickets for the 10 p.m. showtime tomorrow night. There are a couple tickets left for that show, and here's the free ones. 312-591-8300. Caller 10 gets them from our great partners and friends, Concerts West, and from Brian and Kenzie and Q101, and from Stavros himself. Call now for the tickets.
Brian and Kenzie.
On Q 101.